How are y'all so casual about it? A med student shows how much debt each friend is graduating with, sparking debate. So let's actually check this out.
Solomon.
Yeah, what's up?
How much?
Uh, let's see. He's gonna be. Oh, she's 150,000. Okay, so the first guy was 150,000 as well. Nyada is 300,000. Javi is 200,000. Maybe 150,000. Aaron is 200,000 or 250, and Tanya is $400,000 because she's out of state. That's There's some crazy numbers. So as at will underscore ill and his friend are laughing about the $400,000 she is expecting to owe in student loans, he jokes that she might be able to pay that off before she dies. According to Student Loan Planner, physicians graduate with an average of $320,000 in debt, and the range of salary spans from just over 200,000 to 500,000 in some of the higher paid specialties. Some commenters criticize the cost of education, especially given the value of doctors and other healthcare professionals. The top comment reads, "How are y'all so casual about it? I'd be in constant crippling anxiety if I even had debt. I don't understand why becoming a doctor costs so much." One commenter questioned, "Government should fund the program because they are literally the most important people in society. Yes, they will all make decent money eventually, but let's not forget the real issue another road. Higher ed in the US is too expensive. Geez, we have a doctor shortage and we make them pay so much," another said. Others suggested that their postgraduate salaries would be worth the debt they've taken on. Y'all feel bad, but at the same time, they're going to end up making more than double that in a year when they actually start working, one commenter wrote, is an investment. I used to do payroll for a doctor's practice, another wrote. Y'all don't be feeling too bad for them. I had a doc make in 1 month what I made in a year. That's equivalent to what they'll make in 1 year, they said. If they're going for doctors, that's not bad. And here's the thing. What a lot of people don't understand about like this sort of situation is that they are assuming that they are going to graduate, okay? That they're going to pass their boards, like the actual tests to allow them to practice medicine. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of people who go and try to become a doctor, get into hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt, especially if they're out of state, like that very last girl. And guess what? Not actually pass the test to allow them to be a practicing doctor or physician, etc. Meaning, you could very well end up wasting like 6 to 8 years extra of your life being in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt with quite literally no way to earn the money to pay off that debt. Okay? Like their debt amounts, right? Let's see, the 150, 150, 300, 200 or 250, 300 or 250 kind of thing, 400,000. This is all assuming that they're actually going to graduate and pass their boards, pass their tests to actually become a working doctor, which by the way, they also got to get hired to do something, right? Imagine if you're this girl at the very end with $400,000 and for some reason you're not able to pass the test to actually practice medicine. Okay? How are you going to pay off $400,000 in student loan debt? How are you going to do it without a doctor's salary? Okay? You're basically half a million into debt that you can't get rid of with a very, very difficult path on trying to pay it off if you don't actually become a doctor. Okay? Going into debt for a degree or to get like a job is not an investment because there's no guarantee that you will actually end up getting a return on it, right? Like it's just such a scary thing, right? Because like imagine if you had $400,000 in debt to your name without a way to pay it off. Like that is such a scary thing, okay? That is such a scary thing. But what are you going to do? You know, a lot of people don't really pay attention to this. I mean, there is a simple way for them to end up paying off their debt. And like if they graduate, they will be able to do it. They'll be able to pay off their debt. It won't be too difficult for them to actually do it. The only problem is, right? A lot of doctors will end up going through this process, going into this massive amount of debt to finally end up passing their test, finally being able to get their job as a doctor where they are, $500,000 into debt for their position, right? Then they go into debt for a super nice car because, like, oh, I deserve this brand new car. Then they get into debt for a brand new house that's too expensive. So now, combined, they're probably in like $1 million of debt with only like a maybe $100,000, $200,000 income, but their monthly expenses are so high that they're probably actually going negative every single month. Like it's crazy. Because here's the thing, just because your income is high doesn't mean that you're actually pocketing a good amount of money because your debt to income ratio is so bad, right? Like if you got like $1 million in debt versus only like 100,000 income, $200,000 income every year, if you even get the job in the first place, it's crazy. Like that is going to be so hard to pay off that debt amount, right? And also be able to live a life. Like seeing things like this really scares me because also none of them seem to be taking it seriously at all, except for the guy that's trying to minimize his debt amount, who went from like 200 to 150 because they're working like a side job or something, or side hustle. Like, it's almost as if they just don't even care about the debt amount. That's the scary thing about this is like, do you not realize the weight that is actually on your shoulders? Like, if anything happens to you, medically even, how are you going to work to pay off your bills? Like, this is such a scary situation. If you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 40unbox.com. I just thought this was like a really crazy thing to see because they just don't take it seriously at all.